Hi, it's Ralph here. I'm recording this from the occupation at Wall Street because I've been thinking about this all day long today. I came down yesterday afternoon to try to do some recruiting and also just to figure out more about what's going on here, what its relationship might be to our concerns as an MBA program community. It's been almost 2 weeks since the Global Systems class on Saturday evening. It's Friday evening now, but it's almost 2 weeks. And I'm going to write something down that I'm sure will make more sense than what I say right now. But what the big question on my mind that I wanted to reach out and have a conversation with every member of the community about, individually or collectively, is why did I pick Niklas Luhmann and his approach to sociology and social systems as a subject for last intensive? And why did I pick the particular way of presenting it that I picked? I believe I have a clear answer in my mind to those questions, and I'll try to answer them very quickly now, but like I said, I'll try to write something down as well. We talk about the need for a systems approach to understanding our world. I think for a lot of us, even those of us with many years and decades of studying what systems thinking actually means, fall back on that to some extent as an article of faith. That if what we've managed to do is to create enormous systemic problems, then the solution must also be through a systems approach. However, when we start talking about systems in terms of human behavior and the institutions of society, it's an entirely different matter than a systems understanding of physical and natural systems. And I don't think that comes to any surprise because we've said it many times. But I still think it's not a trivial notion. So we talked in the first session with John about what lay behind 9/11. Most of the groups couldn't even agree really on what 9/11 was, much less what its causes were. Did 9/11 matter? Sure. It probably changed the course of American history, in one day. There are other things happening as well. And we tend to think, the most dramatic examples are things that occur on a national or a global scale, like the collapse of the Soviet Union, which no one in the CIA really predicted at all, or the emergence of the Occupy Wall Street movement, which has taken enormously amazing and unpredictable twists and turns. But these kinds of things can also happen at a community level or at a family level and still remain very complex and inexplicable. We carry around with us a bunch of different models in our minds for how to explain things like this, or at least accept them. There are people who attempt to model human society, including institutions, in energy terms, energetic terms. Eugene Odum, for example, has created a whole calculus and a whole symbology for graphing energetic systems. Good old Marx had his theory of dialectical materialism that explained collisions, conflicts in society, and class interest and that kind of thing. Luhmann has another theory, which, unlike Marx, and in some cases even Eugene Odum, many of us in the community haven't heard of. We know at this point that it's not possible to say, oh yeah, Odum was right, or Marx was right, or Niklas Luhmann was right, or any other social systems theorist. However, if you think that knowing those things is not practical, and that it's not related to actually getting things done in the world, I believe you're wrong. Because rather than having one model that we apply, I think it's incumbent on all of us who are trying to make positive change in the world to have a repertoire, a backpack of multiple models that we're comfortable with, that we can explain to somebody else. And when we see something happening in our world, whether it's in our immediate space, in our larger community or even on a large global or national scale as alternatives to going insane or simply saying shit happens, you know, sort of fatalistically, as if life is just random and probably therefore pointless. And rather than putting on blindfolders and saying, you know, I am a Marxist, I am a Marxist, I am a Marxist. Everything can be explained in those terms, and I don't even want to know about anything that's outside of its power. I think what we've learned is that we need to have a whole bundle of different plausible explanations for what we see going on, that we can comfortably switch in and switch out to find out, you know, which one of them works the best, at least in a particular context, which one seems to have the most logical fit. So my presentation of Luhmann, and deliberately taking a non-experiential and very intellectual, very language-based approach, was to expose our entire community to that approach. I don't expect everyone to have understood exactly what I was saying, but at least he's on the map now. And the other reason that I was hyper-communicative as opposed to experiential or even diagrammatic with Luhmann was simply that he says that society is purely communication. And that rather unintuitive thought is something that I wanted folks to chew upon, but also to remember by the highly verbal nature of what we did on Saturday. And I stand by it. Some folks may not agree, may not think it was a practical move, but I think, and I would be very happy to discuss this at much greater length, that it was a useful way for us as a community to spend 2 hours. And I'm going to try to explain myself in other ways as well, but I ask that my view of this, my contribution, be taken in a positive spirit. I offer it in good faith, and I think it's worth spending some time thinking about. Thanks.